Wamenishika, wamenishika, wamenishika yo. Wamenishika, wamenishika, wamenishika yo. Wamenishika, wamenishika, wamenishika yo. DPP, amenishika yo. Anachoma picha, tumezificha, tinikimbitra yo.
Hi, my name is Loy Awat. I do communications at Buni Media, so you're welcome to Buni Media. Buni Media was founded in 2009. This was when it was officially registered, but the story begins a little bit earlier with the XYZ show. So the XYZ show was a concept that came up before the organization Buni Media. This was a concept by one Gado Mwampembwa to produce a satirical puppet show that, kind of addresses the social and political issues that Kenya was facing at the time. Come 2009, the organization was registered as kind of a vehicle to produce this concept of the XYZ show. We are a multimedia organization. So this means we do so many different things. Primarily, I'll just say the core of our work right now is TV, so production, audiovisual production. So this is film, TV, and this incorporates everything from, commercials, PSAs, all this on the audiovisual platform. There's also animation. So we have an animation department. There's also audio. So we have, work that goes exclusively to radio or to just audio platforms. So there's the voice talent. There's also illustration. So we also do comic books, so just for print. And we do sculpting, so we are pretty well known for puppetry. This kind of brings in creatives from the sculpting side of things. Set design, production design, many different types of creatives basically. The most notable thing that I can mention is the XYZ show. So this is a political satire project that is well known in Kenya. We've won awards continentally and locally in Kenya. That's the XYZ show, but there's so much more that Buni Media has done. There's a project called Ask Dr. Pamoja that is actually shooting. It's in production right now. This is a PSA series targeting children and just teaching them about COVID-19 and how to stay safe and how to, avoid the risk of COVID-19. There is a similar project called Hido and Hersi, which is for the Somali market. So it's in the Somali language. Same thing around COVID-19 targeting children. There is a short film called Once Upon a Time in Africa. This was released in 2020. It's a puppetry series. It's a puppetry short film that is currently, just doing the rounds in festivals. There is, I hope I remember everything. There's a short film called The Tempest. The Tempest is also doing rounds in festivals right now. It's a dance short film. So we also actually work with dancers. This is something I should have said earlier, but we do work with dancers. So there's the dance short film that we have released. We are also working on something that we're very excited about. It's called Katiba. Katiba is a comic book version of the Kenyan Constitution. So this is just from the background that not many Kenyans have had access to read and properly understand the Constitution as it is. So the comic book format allows it to be, easily understood. It's entertaining. It's fun to read the Constitution in that format. So we're very excited about this project, Katiba. Buni Media is really exciting because there's a lot of unique things going on here that you do not find in the whole of Africa. You will see our puppetry studio. We have a very advanced puppetry studio. We create foam and latex puppets and props as well. We have a very robust art department. We are building sets and building props. There's a lot of unique work that's going on here, and this brings together a team of really unique and crazy and fun and very talented people.
My name is Zele Kanye, and I work at Buni, the head of wardrobe department, and my job is to dress these guys. As you know, this is a political satire, so we try as much as possible to make them look like the real person. And so we try to get outfits that match them or according to how they wear.
My name is Zimi Masila. I'm a puppeteer. I manipulate voices of puppets. So I love puppets too. That's why I'm here today doing a project under shoot.
In the production team and the production crew, let me say, you find all the departments that you would find on any other regular set. So there's the director's department, there's the camera department, there's the lighting and grips, there is continuity. Continuity actually falls under the director's department, sorry. There's the puppetry department. Let me just say that because we do work a lot with puppets and we do have a puppetry department. There's the wardrobe department. There's editing. There's animation. There's illustration. So this is the team that does the comic book side. There is sound. So we have a sound studio and a sound team. There's the voice talents department, voice actors we call it. So this is just the production crew. These are the people that are doing the creative work. Apart from that, of course, there's the organizational side. There's a management team that kind of works with all the different projects to make sure that everything is happening well and, that the organization is moving towards our goals. A lot of our innovation and what we're excited about is to find new ways of creating puppets and props, new ways of manipulating puppets and using props and building sets and all these things. You'll probably see when you going around the studio, you'll get an idea of the extent and the scope of our art department in that sense. We are very excited about some of the puppets that have been on air in this last season of the XYZ show. You'll notice that they are full body puppets. So it's like a full body representation. I don't know, for somebody who's paid attention, you notice that previously, in previous years, our shows are kind of half body, either the upper half, and then recently we moved into the lower half. We have legs, puppet legs. And so now we have more full body puppets, which is exciting. It's something that the department has really worked to build and to grow in.
Manze zimetushika lakini lazima jo tushike na njia ingine XYZ style. A big shout out to Benali manze jo beat chafua and of course 0000. Asante kwa kutupatia ngoma lakini manze jo cheki vile tuna flow nayo. Twende kazi.
Wamenishika yo. Wamenishika yo. Wamenishika yo. DPP. Amenishika yo.
The XYZ show is one of those things that many times when you watch it on screen, you really cannot imagine the amount of work and the type of engagement that went into each episode before you see it. So many times when people see it, they kind of think, oh, is it animation? You don't give much thought to how the production happened, but it's actually a very long process. And I'll take you right from the start, from the puppet itself. So this is a puppet show. A big part of it is actually creating the puppets. It's a long process to create a puppet. In summary, one puppet alone would take about a month to create. The process begins with writing. There is a week-by-week cycle for creating the XYZ show. So each week, each department is working at a particular stage. So the first stage is with the writing department. They meet, they brainstorm, they do the magic. They do all the magic and come up with the amazing content for the show. Once the script is completed, it goes into the sound team or the voice actors department. The voice actors receive the script and they come into our audio studio and they record it. So there's a voice director called Kaemba. He kind of manages the whole process. He directs the voice recording, and this is done. So this is done after writing. So once you've written and the voice actors have recorded it, then it comes to the set now. So then now we go into the normal production process that many filmmakers and TV producers will know. So it comes on set. Now because the voices were already pre-recorded, we use recorded audio to guide the manipulation of puppets. So the puppeteers are basically acting to a pre-recorded audio. So the puppetry team now takes over with their own magic. Each team puts in a bit of magic. The writers put in their magic, the voice actors put in their magic, and then it comes on set, and the puppeteers put in their magic. So the whole crew now works around it. Of course, there's a lot of magic with just the set design, with the camera work. Everybody, puts in their little salt in there. And once it's shot, it then goes into the editing department. So the post-production team takes over. So the editors get the footage. Many times, because I've said we do shoot on green screen and blue screen a lot, the editors will work hand in hand with the animation department, who now work on the chroma keying and any other animation elements that need to go into the content. Once it's edited, editing and animation and sound editing, so like post-production sound, go hand in hand, and they all work together around the same time. So the sound also needs to be laid onto the final episode, and the animation needs to be laid, and everything needs to come together. So the editing department kind of puts everything together and makes sure that the episode is delivered on time to the broadcaster.
Inaona kama wewe hapana jua kuita kuku. Wewe ni babi. Wewe nilizaliwa hapa State House, mimi nilizaliwa kule Bondo.
Ngoja uone. Niite ule kuku uone ule pale. Ni mwito uone. Kama sema ngwe uone nikiita ule kuku akuje bana.
Mimi ndio chicken collar mkubwa. Nasikia sawa. Hebu jaribu kuita basi uone kama atakuja. Huwezi kuja.
Wacha
uone.
Babi wewe. Tuliza boli, wacha uone ni kusema tu. Wacha kwanza. Kit. Kit.
Unye.
Ni kuku ni.
Oya, unye.
Kuku ni.
Kit. Nasikia sawa. Inaitwa kut.
Acha wewe.
Wewe upande wa kuita kuku uko down. Ni babi nilikwambia. Acha nionyeshe wewe, ngoja.
Hebu nione.
Kut.
The XYZ show has gotten feedback a lot. At the beginning, now when the show was released on Citizen TV, I think in 2009, there was a lot of controversy around it. It was very new. Satire at the time was quite new, so we had ridiculous, but it was a little bit different because it was kind of making fun, but in a nice way, of the political space. But now the XYZ show was trying to critique the governance space. So when it first came out, there was a lot of controversy, and the XYZ show was actually discussed in Parliament. There was a minister, I believe, one Dalmas Otieno, who proposed that the XYZ show be banned. So it had to be discussed. It was, it was a big deal at that time. But thankfully, the show survived. At that time, freedom of expression was a little bit more robust in the country, and the show survived. Since then, we have had communication from politicians and their representatives. I will not mention names, but we have had especially quite high-placed individuals actually making calls to try get the XYZ show stopped. So, for example, I'll say a story without saying names, but one representative of a politician actually called the station. I think at the time, earlier on, we were on Citizen TV still. Yeah, I think we're on NTV. They called the station and they said that we can't have this show anymore. And the station basically said, but we just broadcast the show, we don't produce it, so we can't do anything. So go to the people who make the show. So then the person got the contact of the Ford Foundation. So the Ford Foundation is one of our partners. They've funded the show for some seasons. So they got the contact of Ford Foundation and they called. I think at that time, former Chief Justice Willie Mutunga was at the head of the Ford Foundation. They called and they complained and they said, you guys are doing this. So of course the word got back to Buni that there is an effort to have the XYZ show stopped. But thankfully, again, at the time there were people who are willing to stand up for this type of a project. So even at the broadcaster, at every level, there are people who are willing to stand up for the freedom of expression, that this is just, it's content that deserves to exist. We have also had direct feedback from our characters, from politicians. We've had Martha Karua visiting the set, and she has photos with her puppets. We've had Mike Sonko, former governor of Nairobi. He tweets us a lot. He watches the show a lot. He tweets us. Former women rep Rachel Shebesh. Willie Mutunga himself, former Chief Justice. We've had a lot of feedback from different politicians, especially on social media, where they share our content or they, basically they interact with us, they engage with us, so we are aware that they are watching. Good thing is that it's on a national. So one of the challenges that we've faced is, in a way, there's been a shrinking of, the space in the media for, freedom of expression, freedom of the press. A lot of the more controversial content gets stopped at the gate. We've found it increasingly difficult to be able to find a broadcasting partner that is courageous enough and willing enough to work with us and broadcast our content. So, and also because we are also stubborn, we are also hard-headed, we do not want to back down. We still want to do the content that we love. We still want to talk about Kenya's social and political issues. We still want to contribute to this vision of, an accountable society. So when you have this passion to do this type of content, and then there is a kind of a general atmosphere that, there's kind of some fear. There is, a lot of the media, the mainstream media, the traditional media, are kind of avoiding controversial content. So then it becomes a bit of a challenge to find partners and all this. The good thing now is that social media is big and it's growing in Kenya. So we have other avenues to share our content and to share the type of content that we're passionate about. Social media is open and you can pretty much just share your content. It'll reach a portion of the population or of your target. We aspire to continue doing what we're doing and to do it bigger and better. We are moving more, we are introducing a lot of new projects this year actually. So 2021 is a big growth year for Buni Media, just in terms of coming up with new content. We are doing a lot of collaborations. We're collaborating with some partners like Tsunami, which is an animation company, Project Hand Up, which is big on puppetry, and just partnerships that we're chasing around to really come up with a lot of new content that we're planning to release. So come 10 to 15 years, we do aspire to have a much wider portfolio of work, of course in the multimedia sphere, so across many different disciplines. But at the core of it also is the original vision and the original mission of Buni Media. We hope to see the African society, just being more accountable, more transparent in terms of governance, in terms of citizen participation in civic spaces and all this. So even as we aspire to really expand our portfolio of creative work, all our work is, targeted to really contribute to the struggle for an open and an accountable African society. We are based in Nairobi in Kenya, but our work is really designed for a global audience and especially a Pan-African audience.
I chose Buni Media because the show, as a show being a political satire, it brings a lot of awareness to the people in terms of politics and in terms of what is happening out there. And it brings out basically the evils of Kenya in a funny way. So it's both entertaining and both educative.
Buni is only the first company of puppet in Kenya. And I started working with Buni because I love cartoons. And Buni, they have started this program of XYZ. And that's why I'm doing puppets.
My best character will have to be Sonko, because he's very bold. He's very I'd say kind of flamboyant. He's very stylish, and it's just very fun to dress him.
My favorite character is Jeff Koinange.
There's a need for community around like-minded people. So not only creatives, but people in many different industries. There's a need for community, because you see, when you're alone, when you're one person releasing something, you're alone. Somebody else has not had, nobody knows how they can help you in any way. But when there's a community, how in Kenya, for example, in Nairobi, when something is happening to like a big activist like, Boniface Mwangi or something like that, immediately on his social media, there is support. Immediately, 10,000 people know what's happening, know where it's happening, and are willing to get up and go to that place. If it's a police station, they're willing to get up and go camp at the police station. You see, that's a community around one person, and it is a form of security. I feel that there's a need for this in the creative space, so that anybody out there is not a solo voice. When it's a solo voice, anybody will be scared. But when there's a community around it and there's a chorus of voices, then that's a space where everybody can speak up and feel comfortable and not be afraid, and not be afraid of disappearing, all these type of things. So that's what I can say. Now that leads me into the question of, is the creative industry, where it could be? And I think anybody would say that no. So there's been a lot of growth. Honestly, there's been a lot of growth. There's been a lot of excitement, especially in recent months with, the Kenyan movies on Netflix, and a lot of amazing work that just shows how much potential this country and this industry has, there is so much more. There is so much more. And of course, there are many reasons. We don't want to go into the reasons of why, what the limitations are and what the challenges are. There are so many, and everybody can speak from their corner of, how we could grow as a creative industry. But for me, one aspect is I would be excited to see a movement towards conscious content. Yeah, conscious content, basically. The type of content we are passionate about here at Buni. We would love to see more of this, and it's always exciting when we see this in music, on art, when you see a creative using their voice to speak about something that could actually, to add to the chorus of voices. This is always very exciting. I'm very excited to see that, and I would hope that this is the direction that we would go as a country, because there are so many young people who are frustrated and who want to see changes in many different sectors. People are speaking up. One person this said, and it's building up to a chorus. It's building up to a chorus. The creative industry should really not be left behind, because we can be at the front lines. We can be at the front lines of the chorus. We can be at the front, and I think we have to be. Right now, social media is kind of at the front lines, and the creative industry is, we can still absolutely pick up in music, in film, on TV, on art, comic books, writing, everything. Everybody can pick up and add to the chorus, and I think this would be an exciting direction.